Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Good evening and welcome to the July 22nd, 2024 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. As the hour is 6:50, I will call the meeting to order. Our first our first business this evening is to conduct a board interview down in the Wheelwright Room. We'll be conducting an interview with Mr. David Kovar for the Budget Recommendations Committee, at which time we'll return to the Novak Room for a 7 o'clock regular business meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well. Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time.
And the hour is now 7 o'clock. Welcome back. Good evening, Exeter. Good evening to my colleagues on the board, respective town staff, those in attendance, and certainly those watching at home on TV. Welcome to the July 22nd, 2024 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. I'd like to start this evening by introducing the board. To my right, Selectman Dan Chartrand. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Our Vice Chair, Owen. Good evening.
Hi, everyone.
To my left, our clerk, Selectwoman Julie Gilman. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Selectwoman Nancy Belanger. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
And we have our acting town manager, Melissa Roy. Good evening.
Good evening.
Our recording secretary, Joanna Bartel. Good evening. And my name is Nico Papakostendis. We conducted a board interview downstairs at 6:50, and at this point, we're going to jump right into our regular business meeting and start with a bid opening for the septage receiving equipment installation. We have a memo in our packet. We also have Public Works Director Steve Cronin here. Director Cronin, I don't know if you wanted to, do you have any words to say, or do we want to jump right in?
Jump right in.
Okay. By way of history, on June 17th of this year, the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services Wastewater Bureau approved the design drawings and gave authorization to bid for the construction of the Exeter Septage Receiving Project. This project was publicly advertised on June 20th, 2024, with bids due by 2 o'clock today, July 22nd, 2024. And we will now conduct the bid opening. Madam Clerk, do you have?
I'm ready.
Okay. First bid and I believe we're just looking for,
Can you tell me who it's from?
yeah, PRB Construction Inc.
Okay.
I'm just looking for the lump sum. Ready? Mm-hmm. $165,000. Okay, the next bid is from Northeast Earth Mechanics, LLC. So I guess it's Northeast Earth Mechanics, LLC. And Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, for the record, PRB Construction is from Guilford, New Hampshire. And Northeast Earth is from Pittsfield, New Hampshire. And the bid is $332,500. And the third and last bid is from Penta, P-E-N-T-A Corporation, from Moultonborough, New Hampshire. in the amount of $175,200.
Okay.
You have all three?
Yeah, I'm just, excuse me, writing them over.
And Mr. Roy, these are the only three bids?
And they are.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to refer the bids to the Department of Public Works for a review and recommendation.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Can you put this with all?
Yep. Can we pass these down, Melissa? Okay.
Sorry, y'all. My son is at camp and just tried calling.
That's okay.
Let me tell him to call Liz. Hang on.
So while we do that, the next agenda item is going to be rescheduled, and that was for a swearing in of Sergeant Taylor Sheehan. We'll be rescheduling that to one of our meetings in August.
Yes, I will speak with the chief and the deputy chief in the morning.
Great, okay. And there was an unavoidable conflict. So let's jump right into very special recognition this evening. The Exeter TV crew has won a National Community TV Award. In May 2024, Exeter TV received a 2024 Hometown Media Award from the Alliance for Community Media Foundation. The awards program was established to honor and promote community media, community radio, and local cable programs that are distributed to the public. Educational and governmental access cable television channels. The proceeds go to the ACM Foundation, which is exclusively used for facilitating, presenting, and promoting education in community media. The crew at Exeter TV was awarded with a first place in the Access Program Promo category for their short promo for the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report 2023 Year in Review. The short 3-minute video recaps a year of local coverage while promoting the bi-weekly news magazine show. Each year, nearly 1,000 entries are submitted. These entries, or programs, are submitted and evaluated on several factors, resulting in over 100 award winners. A panel of over 150 judges from the industry evaluate the entries. Awards are presented to the most creative programs that address community needs, develop diverse community involvement, challenge conventional commercial television formats, and move viewers to experience television in a different way. Mike Wassenaar, President and CEO of Alliance for Community Media, said, quote, "The Hometown Media Awards celebrate both the excellence of work and the diversity of media that appears on community channels being produced around the country. The ACM Foundation is proud of their achievement and of how they represent their communities in their work." We have members of our Exeter TV crew here this evening. We'd like to congratulate you. You can all stand up and meet me at the podium.
Yes. We're usually behind the camera.
I know.
It's a little weird. No,
These guys always tell me to grab the mic.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we set up a shot somehow? I
Well,
mean to
don't
be
you
rude,
want to
just
be
so
in
we can
front of
take
one
a
of the
picture.
cameras?
Perfect.
You guys know where the cameras are.
So we have the award here to present to you this evening, and it says, Hometown Media Award winner, the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report 2023 Year in Review, Access Program Promo, Access Center Professional, Exeter TV, Town of Exeter, Bob Glowacki, Will Tapley, and Gabe Perez. Presented by the Foundation of the Alliance for Community Media 2024. Congratulations and job well done.
Nico, will you stand next to them just so we can get a nice picture? You got it.
Okay, one
I'm going to
nice-
start with him first.
Bob, you gotta look it up. You gotta look it up. You gotta hold it up.
Thank you. All right, Renmore, here you here. Thank you. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah, sure. Well, 6.
So this was a short 3-minute video, which is just it's literally a recap of a year's worth of videos, and it's kind of a very small taste of what we do at Exeter TV. And you know, I edited the video, but I think it represents kind of a great teamwork that we've had over the last couple of years. You guys have seen it, and this new show started off as, you know, a weekend weather forecast, and now it's grown into this, you know, big production that takes a majority of our time to do when we're not doing meetings and covering other events in town. So really proud of Gabe and Will here for constantly pushing the show to improve and challenging me to, you know, break the norms of what we normally do. They're good examples of when you let employees kind of run with their enthusiasm, they produce a great product and are a great service to the town. So as much as, you know, I might be picking what stories we're doing and stuff, I think they're, you know, leading the way and making this a better program. So I'm very proud of my team that we've built here. So thank you.
Bob, before you move, you know, obviously you film our meetings, which is very important, but this program that you've put together and you've sort of, you know, worked through it, and it's a wonderful way to communicate the news of the town in a very, you know, brief but informative fashion. But just as important is that the three of you are very well known around town. And I don't think there's any time we can walk around town where we don't see one of you. In addition to highlighting the news, you've highlighted employees who, whether it reaching a milestone, retiring, you've reached out to community leaders that may or may not be employees or volunteers, but just community leaders. You know, any other thing that goes on in town, whether it be the American Independence Museum, the Black Heritage Trail, I mean, all kinds of things. I mean, you three are there, and there isn't anything that doesn't go on in town where you aren't there. And I want to thank you, because the news is the news, and we're working towards communicating better with folks in town. But being able to highlight all those other things and doing it the way you do it is just so appreciated. And I think we take it for granted, so this is a perfect opportunity to just say thank you to all three of you.
Well, I can say we thoroughly enjoy it and meeting everybody. I mean, we get to tell the Exeter stories, but we get to meet a lot of good people. And I also have to give a thank you to the fourth employee who's not here right now because he's filming the brass band. So that's John Thigpen, and he's not working on the report that much, but he's the one who's filling in all the meetings that we need extra help with. He's covering the community events that are out and about. So you know, the four of us together make a good team of, you know, we all bring our strengths and focuses, so it's worked out really well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, could I just
Please.
add really briefly, because the chair has covered everything, but communication's been a real big goal for us, as you all know, and you have been invaluable with helping with that, us to reach that goal. I'll tell you, I can't remember what year it is, but the cable TV committee was the first one I was ever on. I can't remember how far back that was, but what you've done is beyond any expectations that I even remember being thrown around during those meetings all those years ago. So I just want to thank you too for making us be able to reach the goals that we strive to reach.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one thing to say. When I'm sitting on bills at the State House that have to do with notification via website or TV, you know, cable access, a lot of smaller towns put up a fight about them because they don't have the robust department that we have, and I ask them to go look at our website and get a look at what you could do but don't have to do. So I want to thank you for that. I've had several compliments.
Glad to hear it.
Mr. Chartrand.
I love the combination of it, your presentations being very professional, and at the same time you have fun with it. And you hit that balance just right. Don't lose that balance. I love it.
That'll go, all the credit goes to them for the fun stuff. So
You're warming up to it.
yeah, I'm giving my job.
I can tell. You know, your shirts and your whatever.
And I don't have anything else to add other than the local news is so important. So thank you so much for highlighting the work that we're doing in town government and the things that make Exeter great.
So thank you very much, and congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you.
deserved.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Pardon me. Before we move into public comment, I have some news that I would like to share with the public. On Saturday, July 27th, that's this Saturday, from 11 to 3, you may witness a Black Hawk helicopter land and take off from the recreation field. The public will be able to look inside and touch the helicopter and also meet the pilots. Cub Scouts will be on site to organize games for those who wish to participate. And this exciting event is presented in conjunction by Cub Scout 323, the Town of Exeter Parks and Recreation Department, and the New Hampshire Army National Guard. Members of the American Legion will also be on hand in attendance, serving as volunteers. Additionally, Senior Chief Petty Officer Dan Healy's mother, Natalie, will also be in attendance, and she's going to have a booth with information regarding the annual 5K race that she organizes in memory of Dan, who was born in July. We ask that visitors park at the lot at 10 Hampton Road, and from there you have perfect access to the fields. And again, it's from 11 to 3, brought to you by Cub Scout 323, Parks and Rec, and the New Hampshire Army National Guard. And let's hope the weather holds out. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, it's now time for public comment. If there are any members of the public that wish to come up to the microphone and talk to the select board, we do ask that if your comments are relative to anything on the agenda, that you wait for that agenda item. So I will pause. And we don't have anybody online, so we'll close public comment. We'll move to the approval of our minutes from our regular meeting of July 8th, 2024. I'd first ask if there are any amendments or revisions.
I have none.
Okay. Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion to approve the Exeter Select Board regular meeting minutes of July 8th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. As I indicated at the open of our meeting, the board interviewed David Kovar to serve on the Budget Recommendations Committee. And at this point, I would entertain a motion to appoint David Kovar to the BRC.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We thank Mr. Kovar for volunteering, and he's ready for the opening meeting.
Wednesday night. People at home, watch. Start at the beginning. Watch Wednesday night.
6:30.
30.
Let's jump into our discussion items. I'm going to introduce our Public Works Director, Steve Cronin, who's going to give an update on the Squamscott River siphons. While he's at the table, I would ask the board to indulge me in allowing him to also talk about a grant that he's looking for approval that would fall under permits and approvals, and that way we can send him home at a decent hour.
Much appreciated.
I don't see any objection, Mr. Cronin, so you could do both.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, sewer siphons project update. So the two new 12-inch siphon pipes were activated on Friday, July 19th, and we are now in the process of completing the final transition to the sewer collection system. The sewer mains that will connect the new inlet structure to the sewer collection system were installed last week. Over the course of this week, those new mains will be pressure tested and inspected, and the inverts and covers for the connecting manholes will be completed. Site cleanup and restoration activities have already begun and will continue over the next few weeks. We have a construction progress meeting tomorrow, at which we hope to learn the date for the decommissioning of the existing siphons. We're still on track for completion by mid-August.
Great.
Some good news.
Fantastic news.
So we'll be in touch with the board about an opportunity maybe later on this week to get out there for sort of the final connection to the collection system.
Terrific. Wonderful.
I was speaking with Steve today, and I was wondering if what the board thought of inviting Congressman Pappas, since he was able to
Absolutely.
get CDS funding for us. So it may be around his schedule to sort of invite him down, and we got it.
Please do.
That would be great.
So
Good
okay.
idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Very good idea. Thank you, Melissa. Any questions for Mr. Broder?
No, can I get a hallelujah?
Thank you for your patience. We got this.
All right, if you want to jump into the grant that
Sure.
Kristen-
Secondly, so back in May, Kristen Murphy, our Conservation and Sustainability Planner, and I requested a letter of support from the board for a coastal resiliency grant application to do some planning for tidal inundation concerns that we have for Swasey Parkway. So we heard last Wednesday that we were awarded the grant, and we're here before you tonight to request that you accept the grant and authorize the town manager or their designee to sign the grant documents so that we can begin the process. At some point, we'll be back before this board to request a representative to participate in the process.
Wonderful. Any questions?
No, just thank you so much. All the grant work that you guys all, as a collective whole, but Kristen, really appreciate it.
Yeah, Kristen really took the lead on this application, did a great job.
Yeah, sure you did too, but so thank you.
Steve, I too would like to thank you and Kristen, and I'd also like to recognize Dwayne Staples, the Swasey Park trustee chair, who also was working, or at least working with Kristen as she went through this. So I'd like to recognize his efforts. And if there are no other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to accept a grant from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services Coastal Program for a coastal resilience grant in the amount of $18,000, and to further authorize the town manager or their designee to sign the associated grant agreement documents.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Have a good
much.
night.
Thank you.
Our next order of business this evening is to review the preliminary Re-Valuation report. We have Scott Marsh from MRI this evening. You can step right up. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
As you may be aware, the state requires that every 5 years towns update their assessments to bring them in line with market value. This is our 5th year, was last done in 2019, so we had to update the assessments. What MRI did as part of their assessing contract with you is we reviewed all the sale properties that occurred between April 1st of 2022 and April 1st of 2024. As a result of those 565 sale reviews, new tables were set and values were established. And the town's total assessed value last year, taxable value was a little less than $2.3 billion. Now the taxable value is roughly $3.7 billion. So we saw a $1.4 billion increase in taxable assessed values. Overall property values went up roughly 61%. Residentials went up 59%, condominiums 62%, vacant land 70%, manufactured homes 149%, and commercial properties went up 37%. These are just on average. Some properties went up more or less than that. What we do to make sure that the information or the assessments are as equitable as possible is we do a bunch of statistical analysis. A 2-year period of April 1st of 22 to 24 shows that the overall ratio would be 104%. COD is 8.4 and a PRD is 1.02 roughly when it's rounded. These are all within the guidelines that are set by the state and normal assessing practices. The 1-year indications run 100%, 8.2, and then 100.1. I also look at it through what the state looks at. They look from October to September. Currently, from October till current, we're at 97% with 8.5 and a 1.01, which tells us values are still increasing. If we had not done the revaluation, the current figure is 52.3% is what the town's assessments would be at. So we've brought things much more in line with current market conditions. As I said, we inspected all the sale properties and from that time period, and we are expecting to send out value notices the week of August 1st. The hearings will be held beginning in August 26th. We'll allow people to make appointments all the way up to the time when we start the hearings. They can call to schedule a hearing. There's online access, and we also provide Zoom hearings, phone hearings, informal personal hearings, and we also accept any information that wants to be emailed or sent in writing so that we can review any information that somebody may have or any questions they may have regarding their assessments. I'm here to answer
Mr. Marsh, when you
questions.
say that hearings will commence August 26th and then appointments will be taken through August 26th, and does that mean that the hearings will actually go into the following months, or what's the time period?
Yeah, it's usually a 2-week period that we have, depending on the demand that we're getting from the taxpayers. Some communities, we've only seen a 1 or 2% people calling, and other ones we've seen up around 5%. It's not the first process most people are going through, so the calls have seemed to dwindle down over the years. We used to have 10% of everybody coming in, but a lot more people are knowledgeable, and with the online information that's available to everyone, it's a lot easier for people to check and find out information beforehand.
Is there any flexibility where, the hearings start maybe on the last week of summer vacation going into Labor Day week if folks are away? I mean, would there be any flexibility to move it into September further?
Oh, yes, yeah, well, yeah, again, what it is, it's all online, and we'll adjust it accordingly as
Okay.
we need to for whatever your taxpayers are, looking for. Like I said, that's why we offer that Zoom, the phone, as well as in person, so it's not just one type of interview that can be done.
Question, Mr. Chartrand.
Occasionally, I'll see a comment from a constituent who's upset about valuation adjustments. They think that means their tax rate is going to, or their tax, what they pay in taxes is going to spike. Can you explain why that's not true?
Sure. Yes, we hear that a lot, everybody. That's the big thing we want everybody. Do not take these new numbers and apply it with the old tax rate.
Thank you.
The town is, based on what the taxpayers voted to spend, that's the only money that can be raised. So if we increase the value of the town, I'm just going to use an example, we doubled the value of the town, the tax rate, if everything stayed exactly the same, would be cut in half, because you can only raise the amount of money that you guys have voted to spend. So the tax rate will be adjusting quite substantially, but again, depending on what the spending was, the revenues, and all those other things that come into play when you're calculating the tax rate, there will be a change.
So the valuation goes up,
Tax rate
but the
comes
mill
down.
rate goes down.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Marsh?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so you guys are fine with us mailing out the notices, as this says? Okay, that's all we were we want to make sure you're aware. Obviously, taxpayers will probably, even though we tell them to call us, they're going to call you first, so please just refer them to follow the steps in the letter to them, or to call the assessing office or our office, and we'll respond from there.
Great.
Thank you very much. all.
Thank you.
Hopefully Exeter TV will use that little soundbite from your question to help inform.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thanks, Mr. Marsh.
Great work.
Okay. Next on our agenda, we have our Finance Director, Corey Stevens, who would like to make a request of the Board for Treasurer delegation of certain authorities to town staff. Mr. Stevens, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight. Yeah, I just have a brief administrative item for us that came about through the audit process this past year. We have a new auditor, as you know, and it relates to the duties and functions of the town treasurer and their responsibilities. Under the RSAs, the treasurer can delegate some of the authorities or some of the responsibilities that they have to staff or officials of the town, provided that you all are okay with it and the town treasurer is okay with it. It's been a historical practice that we have delegated a number of the functions that we're going to talk about tonight. We just need to do it formally according to the RSA. So the functions that we're talking about in particular, and I've spoken to Sue Penny about these, and obviously she's signed the memos, and we're all in agreement on what we're doing. The three functions are our deposits, our daily deposits to the bank. That's carried out by whether it's tax collector, town clerk, fire department. Many of us have our hands in that function. Investment management. I tend to do a lot of the brainstorming around our investment management. Call Sue, talk it through, and then we move forward. So we're not looking to her to kind of do that on a regular basis. It's up to the finance department. And then finally, it would just be our bank reconciliations. Sue is our treasurer, is part of the process, but we really carry out a large function of that. So those are the three areas that we want to delegate and memorialize that delegation. So I put together 3 memos based on some best practice, had Sue sign them. So what I'd be looking for is just a motion, and then before you leave tonight, if you can all sign off on that, if you're in agreement, that would be great.
Terrific, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Stevens?
No, it's pretty straightforward to me.
Good. Okay. Seeing no questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to allow the Select Board to approve the Treasurer's delegation of authority over bank deposits, investment management, and bank account reconciliations to certain members of town staff as detailed in the delegation of authority memo signed by the Treasurer July 15th,
So moved.
2024.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
So moved. Jumping ahead on you.
Second.
Is motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Corey.
Thanks, everyone.
And Melissa, do you have the originals for us to sign after the meeting?
I do, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So our next discussion item is, again, good night, Corey. Something exciting. The Town of Exeter Energy Committee would like the town to enter into a contest, if you will, with some of our neighboring communities. A challenge, okay, thank you, regarding our Community Power Coalition rates. And so we have our Select Board rep to the Energy Committee here, our clerk, Selectwoman Gilman. Why don't you tell us about the challenge?
All right, so the Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire set their rates for August 1st through December 31st, and once again have come in lower than our the default rates for other utilities that service Exeter and surrounding towns. What the object of this Go Green Challenge is, Seacoast Green Challenge, I'm sorry, Durham, Dover, where did I put the list? And Portsmouth, Newmarket, are all getting together to compare how many people choose to opt up from the default rate. The default rate is what you are automatically charged for your energy use, your kilowatts per hour, and that's what's set by when we join the CPCNH. And then you have an option to opt out. And what that means is that if you opt up to, say, Granite Plus, which is the next step up from the basic default power, it means that 33% of the energy that you use is generated from renewable or clean energy sources, solar, wind, etc. So right now, Granite Plus at 9.3 cents per kilowatt hour is still less than Unitil's default rate of 10.506 cents per kilowatt hour. So what we're looking for, what we're challenging you all, and what the towns are challenging each other, is to get as many people to opt up to using more renewable energy in the supply that they get for their houses. It's not that Unitil's going to be producing more green energy; they're going to be buying more green energy and to distribute to us. I'm going to make a plug for going even further to Clean 50, which is only 10 cents per kilowatt hour compared to Unitil's 10.5 cents. The 100% clean energy is at 12 cents, and if you go all the way, that's great. We love you, but I don't expect people will do that. But it's a real opportunity to opt up. Using more renewable energy to power our town, all our residents and businesses, and then be able to brag. There's no prize, there's no cost or anything. It's just bragging rights for coalition communities, and we have constantly turning over or adding more and more towns to the list of towns that have joined the Community Power Coalition. So it's getting big enough for us to keep our rates down. And be one of the largest energy suppliers in New Hampshire. I think we're second to Eversource still. But we're in the first drive. There's a second wave that's coming through in process, and then 2 more that are starting to talk about it and work on their committees. So my request to all of our residents who are using power from Community Power Coalition, you'll see it on your electric bill. Up in the corner that says the power is provided by CPCNH, to opt up to Granite Plus, 33% green clean energy. And this will be tracked by CPCNH. It's no information is going to be shared, no personal information is going to be shared. They're just going to count the accounts that have changed their choice. So we'll have a number. We don't have any names or anything like that. So that's it. It's a bragging right, and I really want Exeter to win.
Of course we want Exeter to win. I think this is quite a challenge. I think the prize is going green, and I know that Exeter is up to the challenge. And I'm thinking we're going to meet that challenge.
Well, we've been at the forefront for a lot of our sustainability and energy conservation programs, and this one is a fun one.
Absolutely. And I noted in the memo in the packet that a video is either being produced or has been produced.
We produced a video, but it came just before the good news of the rate change that made Granite Plus attractive, I guess. So we had to do a little edit to put in the new rates, or at least refer to the new rates. So it'll be up on YouTube, and I'm sure we'll talk to our TV crew about
our award-winning TV crew. Will definitely.
They'll be all over it. So
wonderful.
And
will you be able to give us updates?
Yeah.
Throughout the challenge, and how long does the challenge go?
It goes from August through the carry of this next rate, so August 1st through December 31st.
Fun.
I know. And also in our packet, you'll see the flyer for what's happening with the community power and how we fall into it.
Wonderful. Any questions or comments?
Actually, it goes through January 31st, 2025.
Okay. All right, well, let's go Exeter.
Yep.
Selectwoman Gilman, you'll keep us posted.
I will.
Anything we can do to help promote this?
The Energy Committee is going to, we're going to do the TV thing. We'll have the video will show you how to do it. If you have questions or concerns, contact the Energy Committee. We're also going to do some hours at the library if people want.
Wonderful.
To be shown how to do it by hand.
How about the website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my website, and any events that the town puts on, we'll have a table at them, with those primary, et cetera.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Melissa, did you have anything to?
No, I was just going to say earlier when EXTV was here, I was thinking it proved the point of how good of a job they're doing, that the Energy Committee was like, well, we're going to use the biweekly report. So I think people really look towards it. It's a pretty effective tool.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure.
And you don't need any action?
I don't need any action. I just want you all to urge our residents and businesses to
I guess it starts with us
opt
too,
up.
right?
Yep. Well, actually, in the video, that's what's going on. Is my bills being opted up.
While you have the floor.
Yes.
Why don't you walk us through the next agenda item, which is also exciting.
Yeah.
Lots of excitement.
I don't have the actual memo in here.
I didn't see a memo. Was there a memo for
Sent it to Pam.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you about it.
Sorry, I missed.
We have been purposed with organizing a Semi-Sesquicentennial celebration for the 250th anniversary of our birthday of the nation on July 4th, 1776. So we have to get moving now in order to know what we're going to do in 2026 and be able to budget it next year.
Okay.
So I had put together a memo about the committee or commission, whatever you want to talk. It's sort of like the park, the Water Street Park, Pearpoint Park. With a note, I think I put down 6 residents and a member of the Heritage Commission. And this, you need the memo because you
No,
get out feedback. But anyway, and then consultation with the Historical Society and any other civic or group, just to come up with ideas of how we might want to celebrate. And what I personally am looking for is not just what are we going to do on July 4th, but what can we do throughout the year. And it doesn't have to be events. It can be something like, this is where Red Week and this is where Blue Week, and and then work with the different organizations and charities and nonprofits that want to join in and have some support or join us or will join them. So that was pretty much what it says.
And a budget line item?
That's the purpose is to design the celebration and price it out. Are we going to need an event coordinator for something, or do we have enough volunteers? We guarantee that. And then, say we want to do more fireworks than we do. We might want to do a 4th of July one. That would be twice in 1 month, but we might want to just pick a random day to celebrate. So yeah, it's for things like that. If we're going to do something, we need to cost it out so we can put it in the budget.
So you're looking for a committee rather quickly to be formed to budget that voters in March, correct?
The state formed theirs 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I don't know what they've done yet because their reports are hard to find.
Okay.
But that was part of the charge too, is to work with the state.
Okay. Have we started
commission.
recruiting?
I know at least 1 or 2 people that want to be on it.
Okay. So let's do this. Because we missed the memo somehow, why don't the 5 of us and town staff maybe start recruiting folks to apply?
I think they need to see what they're getting into.
No, I understand that. But I mean, we could bring if we get to start the interview process.
Yeah.
And then we can bring the memo back on August 5th.
Okay.
To formulate and vote on what we think. But it doesn't hurt to start recruiting folks from now.
And there'll be, and I also specified representatives from Parks and Rec and the Select Board and somebody else.
Melissa, if you could look for that memo, at least get it out to the board this week so that we know.
I think I have it on my phone.
To folks.
Sure.
Well, I was wondering, can't we add it as a supplement
We can.
to the packet on the website too? So if
We
there's
can also
anyone
do that.
interested in what it says,
Yep.
they can read it between now and our next.
And then we can take it up August 5th to finalize the makeup of the committee. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
I can send it to you when we're done with the meeting, so. Okay, that's it.
Comments? All right. Thank you, Selectwoman Gilman.
You're welcome.
So again, while you have the floor,
But wait, there's more.
put your clerk's hat on.
This is, all right. Mr. Chair, I move to abate property taxes for MAP 65, Lot 127, Unit A, in the amount of $30,617.57 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And we have already talked about the valuation report, which we have here in a binder. And it's also, you'll get your letters in August, so I don't think I
Nope.
have anything else to say there.
Okay.
May I add to that? So there are binders located here in the assessor's office, at the library, as well as our webpage, the assessor's webpage for the town of Exeter.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa. So we've taken care of Steve's approval. Melissa, while you have the floor, present the town manager's report, and I will ask if, while you do your report, you give an update on the River Advisory Committee meeting
Sure.
on which you sat in for me.
Sure. The River Advisory Committee, they had a presentation from VHB to discuss the, I'm trying to say this the right way, the the reservoir dam, right? So a lot of people in town call it the waterworks dam, which is what holds our water for our surface water treatment plant. So we are starting that process. That is a high hazard dam, and it is important because it holds our drinking water. So this is going to be part of our discussions for surface water treatment plant. Are they tied together? Are they separate projects? And so we're beginning that process. And VHB made that presentation this past Thursday.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So let's see. We started negotiation meetings with 2 of the 3 unions. We had our kickoff meetings last Friday with police and fire. We will be holding SEIU, we hope, this week to start those processes. We held 4 interviews for architecture firms for our new police station and fire substation. I think we have a consensus of where we'd like to go, so we're finalizing that. There was an interview team that included our OPM, Dave Sharples, Corey Stevens, Doug Eastman, the fire and police chiefs, as well as the deputy police chief and myself. So we all got to hear all of that, which was fantastic. We also interviewed construction firms for the 10 Hampton Road renovation for the new rec center. We interviewed 4 firms and are also finalizing. I think we've landed on where we'd like to go, so finalizing that. And that was the Park and Rec team, Mike Whistler, who volunteered from the Rec Board, myself, Dave Sharples, and Doug Eastman. So we had 2 great committees working on those. I attended the State of the State event at Riverwoods last week with Corey, our finance director, and Governor Sununu spoke to the state of New Hampshire. We continue to hold our internal leadership meetings and operation meetings, worked with multiple departments regarding various personnel issues, and worked with Corey and Dave on continuing to prepare the CIP for the planning department.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
busy 2 weeks.
It was indeed. Any questions for Melissa? And
I
again,
just
go ahead.
have one on the architectural team or RFP or interviews. I'm sorry. Did the finance facilities committee have any interest in being part of that, or did they see any?
I'm sorry, part of what?
Part of being part of the interview team, or at least reviewing which.
We do have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday if you'd like to attend that and find out.
No, I just wondered.
I don't recall it coming up. I did have to leave a meeting early, our last meeting.
Okay. No, I just wanted to know if they had an opinion too.
I would say they probably would. They would
Me
be
too.
happy to give their input.
Okay.
So we are meeting on Wednesday at 5:30.
Well, maybe you can.
Yeah, I can find out from Dave if, and sometimes we invite folks and schedules don't work, so I just am not sure, but I will find out. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to say no, they're not interested.
No, I definitely would be interested.
That's
At
not the
least-
temperament of that committee.
No.
Any other questions for Melissa?
Nope.
10 Hampton Road, maybe when we're putting the agenda together for either August or early September, maybe Greg can give an update
Sure.
on what's going on. I know folks ask periodically, and they don't understand when you explain the whole how the grant process can slow things down. But I'd like folks to hear at at least this level that we are working actively to make those improvements to.
Absolutely. I can give you a Cliff Notes version
go ahead,
quickly.
please.
So when we first got the building, we had some money in the warrant article to make some improvements. We pretty much started on that pretty quickly. It soon became apparent that there was this opportunity for a grant. We actually were trying to get the staff ready to move into the building, and we paused because we knew if we moved all of the staff into the building and we were to get the grant, we'd have to move them all back out again. And so that's one of the reasons it's taking a little bit longer because of this grant. But because of this grant, we're able to do about $900,000 worth of renovation rather than $100,000 worth of renovation. So it may not seem like things are happening, but it was calculated so that when construction starts, they're not having to do it around our staff that are there. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Select Board Committee reports, Selectwoman Belanger.
I had a planning board meeting on July 11th. The first thing that happened was our Exeter Country Club, that the building that was approved for a restaurant was granted an extension for 1 year till July 13th of 2025. Then we had a second public hearing on the property at 127 Portsmouth Ave. It's a piece of property that's very close to our water supply. There was a lot of concerns. We had Andrew Koff representing the Conservation Commission there. Krista Murphy was there. She was there for the whole meeting in place of Dave Sharples, who was not able to attend. They will be coming back again on August 22nd at 7 o'clock, which happens to also be our CIP night. That will start at 6:30. So they'll be on the agenda as the first agenda item. But there was a lot of concern over their requests for waivers, because of our water in a sensitive area. Then we had a minor subdivision that was approved for 3 residential lots located at 100 Linden Street and Patricia Ave. And then we had a design review only of another potential project at 76 Portsmouth Ave. Again, there were no decisions made. It was just design review. We had a lot of people there, a lot of concerns voiced, and we'll see where that goes. And that's it for me.
Great, thank you for the update. I watched that meeting, it was busy.
It was very busy. Yes.
Selectwoman Gilman.
Yes, I had, since the last meeting, I did meet with the members of the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance, and we toured several facilities to look at their next annual conference, which has a movable date, because I told them the town hall would just be too hot if we did it in the summer, so maybe we should do spring or fall. But we looked at all the gathering spaces that we have, because the conference usually has a main thing and then breakout rooms, like a lot of conferences do, and then you come back together. So we looked here at the Senior Center, Parks and Rec, which is, the second floor is not accessible, so that kind of got cut off. But just they are also going to talk to other buildings in the area to see which parts they could use for which parts. So I think they'll be coming to Exeter. It sounded pretty good. You've heard the Energy Committee's thing, and both the Heritage and the HDC had no business, so they were canceled.
Okay, great, thank you. Selectwoman Cowan.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Selectman Chartrand?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did attend a Conservation Commission meeting on Tuesday, July 9th. Excuse me. They did take up the 127 Portsmouth Ave matter that Selectwoman Belanger just referred to, and they ultimately recommended to the planning board not to make the allowances that the developer was seeking. Again, primarily because of the proximity to our groundwater supply. I'm sorry, our surface water supply, pardon me. And then they also took up the 76 Portsmouth Ave matter that Selectwoman Blanchard just referred to. I must say I was extremely impressed by the neighbors that showed up from the J.D. Hill neighborhood that are immediately impacted by the size of that project. And some of they were very disciplined. They showed up en masse. They only addressed those things that were pertinent to the Conservation Commission. I want to congratulate those folks on what a great job they did and how respectful they were and how disciplined they were in their presentations. It was really a model of citizen engagement. Nothing was decided. It was just kind of a, hi, here's what we're thinking. And the developer got a real ground level view of the neighborhood's concerns as they relate to the Conservation Commission's purview. So, great meeting. I also attended a train station meeting on Thursday, July 18th, and planning on that continues apace. We are hoping to eventually get into the CIP with that. Obviously, timing is a bit off in the distance, but we feel very strongly that as we pass the 2 million mark in passengers either going out of Exeter or coming into Exeter, we really need to take care of putting some kind of building and amenity there to greet and orient the folks that are leaving or alighting. So you'll be hearing more about that, I'm sure. And then I do have a Facilities Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday at 5:30 this week on the 24th of July. And I will bring your concerns, Selectwoman Gilman, to that meeting. And that's my report.
Thank you, Selectman Chartrand.
You're welcome.
In addition to the River Advisory Committee meeting, I was unable to attend the Pearpoint Park Committee meeting, which was on the same day, actually right after that meeting, due to a commitment I had with my son. But I did speak with Dave Sharples on Friday, who's town staff to the committee, and he gave me an update. Essentially, for the first half hour, bless you, for the first half hour, they went over some more 91A issues, some site documentations, and then the other half hour of the meeting, they actually did a site walk, which was posted, and all the committee members got to see the property. And then I'll be in attendance for the August meeting. So that's my update. Correspondence, we have an email from a citizen that I responded to, and that communication is here. We also have the NHMA update, and we have a notice to residents from the Business and Economic Affairs, correspondence from Secretary of State Scanlon regarding voting in honor of a veteran. We have a memo, or email rather, from Exeter Hospital advertising their community survey. And a thank you from Big Brothers and Big Sisters, who hosted yet again a very successful pickleball tournament, I believe 2 weekends ago.
Yep.
So appreciate that.
Parks and Rec.
We thank Parks and Rec, and we thank Big Brothers and Big Sisters, who's been a great partner for this benefit, this pickleball benefit, and working with Parks and Rec to make sure that it's seamless for folks utilizing the rec area around that and obviously traffic. So appreciate that. And just lost my agenda. Board calendar through September. August 5th, August 19th, September 3rd, which is a Tuesday, September 16th, and September 30th. This Wednesday, July 24th, will be the Budget Recommendation Committee kickoff. Acting Town Manager Melissa Roy and Finance Director Corey Stevens will be joining the BRC, as well as I'm sure most of us, not all of us. The BRC presentation of the draft budget will be on October 2nd. Typically, it is the last Wednesday of September, but the chair of the BRC had a conflict, so we've moved it up 1 week, and that will not prohibit the General Government Subcommittee from beginning their work prior to that. So that will be worked out by the chair. There are no other issues or agenda items or conversation. I would ask that the board entertain a motion to enter into non-public under RSA 91A 32C.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Selectman Chartran?
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan?
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger?
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. The motion passes 5-0. The board will be entering into non-public. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access
Melissa, if you
channel,
would-
available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your
thank you.
channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.